underlying problems can create health issues, which can further complicate matters in your life. And should drastic changes in your life be necessary, health in and of itself can have a major impact, and does have a major impact, on everybody's life, necessitating a radical change of lifestyle related to one's personal life. And when it comes to your life, how great the necessity can become for recreating your life when faced with a romantic breakup, a divorce, or the passing of someone that you dearly loved. In my own life, and over the years and working with clients I have, it has become apparent to me how much of a difference it makes to each person if they have a strong personal relationship to God during a time when their lives have to be restructured anew. The greater the mystical spiritual awareness during such times, the easier it is to recreate one's life. And when I say mystical, I mean the inner knowledge that is a portion of God presence. You know that you are connected to God within. This is what Jesus knew. And knowing that God's presence was inside wants to help you because you are God's creation. And God, as your eternal parent, loves you. And so this awareness not only gives you something to fall back on, but it is a literal fact of life that means your life can be recreated by God, whether it's finances, love, health, whatever area needs to be created. So to follow through with that, I'm going to share some affirmations and talk about them. And as I say the affirmation, you just close your eyes and take it in. The first one is, close your eyes, I am totally and completely willing to have God recreate my life. And come back. If you're not willing to let God recreate your life, you are blocking the assistance of God that knows all, that wants to help you with everything. You must be willing to acknowledge, beloveds, that major changes in your life are needed, and that you're willing to let God make those changes necessary to recreate your life. Number 2, close your eyes. I put my complete trust in God to make whatever changes are necessary to recreate my life. Yes. Whatever your life is in deeply need of remaking, trust God rather than your personal ego. Because it can only see fragments of the total picture of your life, and it feels like it has control, but it doesn't. It doesn't know where it should go. But God can see the whole picture, the creator of all that is, and where everywhere God is, can see what needs to be done in your life. When you try to figure out what to do with your personal ego mind, you're immediately limited in the areas of knowing what is needed to reconstruct your life. It can never figure out all the things you need to do. And I've talked about this before, what needed to do for me to be here in this moment. I didn't know. I just said yes to God, and here I am. So it's what we need to do, because the ego can't figure it out. When you turn it over to God, then you can have complete trust that something should be done, whatever should be done, will be for your long-term interests. Trust between yourself and God is really a love relationship of the parent to the offspring. You are the offspring, and your divine parent, your eternal parent, desires for you to recreate your life. Affirmation number 3. I give up my personal will to God's will, so that God may have full power over my body, mind, and soul to recreate my life. So living in accordance with one's personal will creates a state of mind where a person more or less forces things to happen. If mind says, do this, do this. I've talked about that before too, how we get so caught up in the doing instead of just being. But when you give up your personal will to God's will, things begin to happen naturally. When you give up your personal will, you will in truth give up the will of a false, illusionary identity. It's not real. Your real identity is the manifestation and the oneness of God's presence. This is why the Bible says, he who loses himself, meaning the false self, finds himself, meaning his true God self. How simple that statement is. Let go of the ego, find the true God self, and you give up so little to gain so much in your life with this. When you give up your personal will, the divine can more quickly and fastly and totally, completely move through your life to help you do what needs to be done to recreate your life. Number 4, God recreates my life according to my soul's true purpose for this lifetime, to give me the greater fulfillment and happiness. Wow, that's a perfect one as well. Behind a backdrop of major changes is your soul's true purpose for this lifetime. Why are you here? If you allow God to recreate your life for you, you are automatically working with your soul's purpose. And the fulfilling of this soul's purpose at every recreation of your life will give you lasting happiness. Don't we go around and say, that's what I would like more of? Here's the way it can happen. The reason is that only that which fulfills your soul's purpose for this lifetime can provide you with the happiness that endures. When you attempt to recreate it out of your ego, you entirely miss what it is that will bring you the fulfillment, because the ego doesn't know that. And you separate from it. And you miss out on the fulfillment and the happiness, adding to your soul's journey. So, to help create this and accept this in your life, beloveds, I would say you need to consider yourself as an eternal being, and your decisions in life should therefore be made by the eternal being of God that lives within you. Affirmation number 5. Each and every day I maintain an attitude that God is recreating my life, no matter what we believe, no matter what we think is in our way. We maintain the attitude that God is recreating it. And you will realize at a certain point of awareness as you do this more that things are happening and that God is recreating it. Now, most people think that God only recreates for a limited duration, and when it's accomplished, withdraws until the next time your life needs to be created. And we feel like, oh, God was here and now God's gone. Things are happening again. I need to get God back. But the truth is that the recreation of your life after a major change is an ongoing process. When God helps you recreate your life, it doesn't just leave you alone. God is still there helping. We got to stay open to that the whole time. And so your attitude should continually reflect that God is constantly at work recreating your life. And then it starts anew. For example, if God wanted to recreate your life 5 years ago, and that recreation is quite visible, this does not mean it's over, because as you engage in daily activities with this new recreation, an attitude comes that's stronger about needing God all the time. And in so doing, your attitude keeps your consciousness open and receptive to new ideas coming into you. Let go of what's happened already, open up to the new. Number 6. Through the power of God, I release all past negativity from my mind, that God may create a life in a consciousness of positiveness. So what that means is to allow God the opportunity to recreate your life in a more positive way. You need to remove any negative mental energy, any lack, any blocks in your memory level of your mind, any fears from the past. Now, the personal ego part of the mind, we still want to hold on to that. It may be resistance to releasing past negativity, because that's where it gets its power. Because part of it is what comprises the presence of your personal ego. So therefore, to change that, you got to start practicing affirming that God is sublimating all of the negative energies into light, taking it away from you and putting it into light. By clearing out this past negativity, then the God part of your mind may work more strongly and freely, effectively and quickly to recreate your life, because it's coming from the light of God. Number 7, I am open daily in my mind to receive intuitive guidance from God regarding how I cooperate in recreating my life. Did you see that last part, how I cooperate? You need to be there and cooperate with it, because God's creation of your life will primarily take place in 2 ways. Number 1, in the unseen realm of the universal mind, the oneness that we are. God will set into motion circumstances and conditions that will materialize in your physical world as part of the ways of recreating your life. Meaning you have a thought about something in the unseen realm, and God is there and starts moving through so that you manifest outwardly what you're feeling and thinking inside. The second thing is through the intuitive guidance. God, in the God portion of your mind, will guide you to do what to do. It may be experienced during the recreating processes such as, and pay attention if you receive any of these, hunches, premonitions, inspiration, strong feelings, sensing, spontaneous thoughts. Pay close attention when you're experiencing one of these sensations as you are receiving guidance from God. God is right there. When they get these things, it's so clear that if you listen to it, the message is there. The steps are there for you to take. In other words, God is trying to position you in such a way where everything comes together harmoniously and peacefully, creating an atmosphere conducive to recreating your life. And the last affirmation is, through my daily practice of meditation, my consciousness is changing in harmony with recreating my life. Well, there you go. Every time you meditate, you can open up the conscious level of your mind. You're more completely to God's consciousness. If you are meditating on a daily basis, you are constantly exposing the energies comprising your conscious mind to receive divine energies from God. And over a period of time in your life, varying from individual to individual, a transformation of your consciousness occurs. You have a new thought, a new you. And the end result of this transformation is that your consciousness is now in attunement with how your mind should be operating in recreating your life. So it's like bringing the things together in your conscious mind and changing things so that it's there, the power is there. You know it, you feel it, and you know what to do to go move forward. And thus your daily meditation is a means through which God can bring about changes in your consciousness, equal to the consciousness you will need to recreate your life. So God is bringing the energy to you to help you recreate it. Pay attention, listen to it. To close, I'd like to do a prayer treatment, so do close your eyes for this. Divine Mind, my Creator, whose spirit and light live within me, I affirm and declare that through your infinite intelligence, power, and love, you are constantly recreating my life for the greater good of my body, mind, and soul. And for this I give thanks, I let it be so, and so it is. Namaste.